Hello and welcome to today's content, which will be talking about Kilphe since her EX has come out. And yeah, before we start though, I just want to say thank you guys for being so patient for this. I was definitely busy with work, and then at the same time a new expansion for a game I play a lot of came out, so I've been busy with that on any of my free time, and then just going straight to sleep because I have work the next day. Additionally, we also have Trials of Reckoning, where I was very busy setting that up as well. So yeah, it was very busy week, and I hope everything kind of settles down within the next week or so, especially because we should have like a new raid will be coming out, which we don't know if it's going to be the Holy Flan raid or if they're just going to skip it to Joom's raid. Additionally, we should have Joom and Lucio and a few other units come out, and we have the holidays units, and we don't know if they're going to be adding new ones or not. So yeah, it's going to be really busy. But yeah, without further ado, let's begin. And here we are for Kilphe's main job, which is going to be the Staff Mage. So for her abilities as a base unit, she's going to get Earth Staff, Winged Staff, Shield of Staves, Energy Buster, Faith Rising, and her limit break, which is Stave Collector, which is one of the more unique ones in the units because it reduces the magic. It's literally magic resistance in peril, which is very rare to find in general. For her EX upgrades specifically, Energy Buster now turns into Energy Blaster, where it removes the cast time completely, so it's just an instant cast, which is very convenient and nice to have. Additionally, her EX ability is going to be Staff of Augmentation, where, as you can see, most importantly in my opinion here is the defense increased by 20 and the decreased AP consumption. For her sub-job abilities, we do have for the Staff Mage, it has Confusing Staff, Step in Magic, and Stunning Staff. Specifically, I will say Step in Magic has no cast time and it does hit decently hard for the modifier, so yeah, this is not bad if you just want a little bit more of that damage. She also has the spell-based sub-job, which does have Magic Barrier and Taunting Spell. I just have to say, Taunting Spell, this does allow her to possibly be a tank, and Magic Barrier definitely allows her to also be a little bit tankier towards magic in terms of mitigating damage at least. And lastly, we do have the White Mage sub-job. Most importantly, she has Holy as her ability. She does not have full life or anything like that, but she does have Holy, which is pretty significant just in general. Now here we are for resistances and passives. So to damage types, Slash is going to be 15%, Pierce is -10, -10 to Strike, 15 to Missile, and 10% to Magic. Overall, this is actually really solid resistances, especially because she can get she does have a physical barrier in her main job abilities, so the Pierce and Strike resistance is not too much of an issue, especially if they don't have a barrier break. If they do have a barrier break, I will say she does have another countermeasure that I will talk about as we keep talking about her kit. She does have 0% to AoE and single target resistance. At level 120, master ability included, she gets 10 defense and 4 spirit. So yeah, as you can see already, she is going to be a bit beefier for defense. For her resistances to statuses, unfortunately she doesn't really have any quote-unquote relevant ones, and I say this because not many people use silence, even though silence is very nice to have. Almost no one has Toad, and Berserk is very unique to specifically 2 units, which is going to be King Mont and Glaciella specifically. For master abilities, she has increased HP by 20%, so as you can see, she will be like a bruiser type mage, and she does have cast time reduction for herself. She does not, unfortunately, have the elemental for Earth master ability. Maybe in the future on her second EX or second master ability for older units, she might get it, but because we don't know and we don't have it right now, she does not have it for now. She is a 3 move, 1 jump unit, 80 cost. For her passives, what I highly recommend, mandatory, is you are using Oathkeeper's Conviction, which is gonna increase her magic by 30%, but most importantly, the spirit penetration by 40. Very important. From here, she's gonna have Providence or Lightning or Defense up, depending on what you want to face. She kind of has the flexibility, kind of like, I guess I would say Noctis in this situation, where she can toggle her abilities to be more anti-magic or more anti-physical. She does have a much more significant better chance of being anti-physical because she has a very high defense. As you can see with her passive alone here and level 120 master ability included, she can get a base of 22 defense before anything else, so this is pretty nice. For Niche and Flex, March of the Saints, Nullify Doom, you're not using this, let's be honest. I mean, maybe in the tower, but 9 out of 10 times you're not using this. For reaction abilities, I would highly recommend, just as I said before, you kind of want to like tune what you want to like reduce damage towards. If you're going against magic compositions, you want Magic Guard. However, if you want more generic matchups, I would, in my opinion, do Anti-Barrier. Regenerator is not bad. However, this is very reliant on the fact that she gets multiple turns to heal her HP from the regen, which means she needs to be fast, which she is not. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And here is Kilphe's rating out of 5. And in the end, I did put her as a 3.5 out of 5. And I will say, I kind of want to change my policy a little bit because I've been busy. I do not want to make an example slide for her, only because I don't think it'll be as effective, because she will be one of those units that are niche and will work to what you want her to do, but not in all situations or most situations compared to more competitive play. So that's why I do place her at a 3.5 out of 5. But despite that, let's talk about the pros first. So she's able to become a good bruiser with physical tanking capabilities and is a mage to boot. I will say she can be also magical tanky as long as you use a correct setup for her in that situation, because she also has a magic barrier on the Spellblade subjob. Additionally, I just wanted to say she does have, I believe, 3,800 HP, so that is pretty high. She does have a high HP for a total as a mage with a good base. I believe her base is around like 3,000 or 3,100, which is still pretty high as well, especially for a mage. She also has a good total magic. She does have slow agility. However, she does have a high base agility. This does mean if you do have agility vision cards, like percentages increases for her, she can be quite speedy, but she won't be a top tier speedy because her total agility is just low in general. Her Energy Buster and Blaster is her main gimmick. It's also known in the past as the Sid or Orlando Slayer due to his 100% hit AoE hit, as well as it being the Earth element, and the EX upgrade making it have no cast time. So yeah, she was literally the counter to Orlando. I know I say this every time, I don't like using the word counter, but she really was. There was nothing that Orlando could do to her. It was pretty sad seeing the matchup because she just dumpstered him completely. But yeah, that was back in the past before EX, just keep that in mind. So yeah, she does have access to both magic and slash attack types. She's able to stack up defense quickly with passives, and if she does use the Staff of Augmentation, she can easily hit 42 defense before equipment, before her physical barrier, before her Esper, and before a vision card setup. You can, I will just say this, easily just hit like 60, even like 70. You can go 80 defense if you really want to do some super crazy build, but just keep in mind defense penetration does exist. Is it really worth it to stack it that high? That's going to be up to you to decide. But yeah, she can get very defense tanky. You just have to watch out for defense penetration units in overall, and or defense decreasing. She does have access to the Holy on her White Mage subjob, and this is a 100% hit ability, and it does have an elemental advantage against Dark. I will say having Holy on a subjob is pretty nice, not only because she has multiple abilities now to fight evasion units, she does have an ability to have a type advantage over Dark specifically. It has to be Holy though, it can't be Energy Busted. She is extremely effective against evasion units due to Holy and Energy Buster slash Blaster, the EX upgraded version. So yeah, evasion units don't really have a good chance against her, let's just be honest. Like, she will be hitting them every time, and she does hit decently hard, so yeah, you do have to watch out for that. With her EX upgrade, her Oathkeeper's Conviction, which is the magic percentage, allows for a base of 40% spirit penetration, something all DPS units in general, either magic or physical, for magic specifically spirit penetration, will need to stay in the meta. Unless you are on the same tier as Helena in terms of damage output and penetration, you have to have some type of penetration either in like the defenses or the attack type resistance. So yeah, you just really need something like that. With her limit break, she's also able to magic attack resistance in peril for 38%. So yeah, she can lower magic attack resistance, and she has spirit penetration, so she does have that kit, kind of like Helena in a different type of form, because Helena doesn't really have a magic attack type res in peril nor spirit penetration, but she can lower the spirit with Black Rose Hex, and she can magic attack resistance penetrate with her own master ability and the Cypress Pile. So yeah, they kind of have a different mixed match set there. For the Spellblade subjob, this does allow for a magic barrier, as I said, for flexibility, as well as that this could mean that she could be a potential tank due to taunting spell, and she does use it, because I've definitely used it multiple times back in the past. She is capable of using it. Also, due to being a staff user, this does allow her to use the Cypress Pile for magic attack resistance penetration, so she is no stranger to the Cypress Pile. She can make you effective use out of it if you need that magic attack resistance penetration. Now let's talk about the negatives. For Kilphe specifically, with a base of 4 spirit, unfortunately, she will have to watch out for magic damage in general outside of her resistances. I know she has good resistances to slash, missile, and magic attack type resistance, so you're like, oh, this is probably decent into Elena and Jaden. You have to keep in mind, with a low base spirit, she can get chained quite easily, and because she is not really fast, who are 2 of one of the fastest units in the game, Elena and Jaden in that regard. And they have very high chaining capabilities that will get rid of her magic barrier very quickly if she does have it on. So just keep in mind she will have a little bit more difficult time against more meta magic damage units in general. Her her energy buster and blaster only has 2 casts. Back in the day before EX, I don't know why Gumi didn't give her at least 3 or 4 casts of this, but back in the day before EX, she only needed 1 cast to basically wipe a team. However, with EX, now in this day, this meta, these changes, these power creep, 2 casts of energy buster is really concerning to how much it will be effective enough, just in my opinion. I wish with the EX upgrade, not only did it took out the cast time, but I wish they rose at least the amount of cast to 3 or 4, come on. Next up, she does have no barrier breaks and nor any multi-hits in her kit, so barriers are very, very effective against her. She will have a very hard time to take out anyone who has a barrier, pretty much. Staff mages, specifically Kilphe, start with only 50% of their total HP. While having high AP costs, this does mean she has to use Staff of Augmentation or buffing turns as a mandatory, or else in longer fights she's gonna run out of AP and just have nothing to use. So it's gonna be really sad to see that if you do have longer fights. Especially, I will say, if you're fighting units that have Immortal Spirit or Re-Raise, or they have a healer in the back because you can't one-shot them, Kilphe is gonna do horribly into those teams. Almost all abilities of her that are mostly on her main job are going to be very short range, and outside of her sub job abilities, which is going to be mostly taunting spell and holy, which have good far range, she is going to be very short ranged overall, so you do have to keep in mind she will be on the front lines. While she does have magic attack resistance and peril, this is currently not the winning formula to kind of beat or change the meta. As I said before, not only is penetration kind of required or needed in the unit to be more functional overall, especially if you're a DPS. If you're a tank or something, it doesn't really matter too much, but if you're a DPS role specifically, you do need Imperil, or you do need everything. It's going to be kind of more as a quote-unquote mandatory or expected, rather than, oh my gosh, this is unique and now this is the winning formula. Unfortunately for Kilphe, in our current meta, this is not how you can win with this setup. This is not saying that her LB is bad, but this is basically saying this is not good enough for what we need currently. If you limit break a Jaden, he was going to die anyways if you had it. However, if you limit break a tank Engelbert that has Mortal Spirit on and or Re-Raise if he had, she is not really going to hit 11k damage. It's possible if he's not mitigating against it. However, she still is not beating that Re-Raise or Guts, so just keep that in mind. Also, Kilphe does have cast times on some abilities. Although her Energy Buster's EX upgrade, as I said, is an instant cast, her other abilities like Holy, even her own Barrier and all those, she does have cast times for those, so you have to watch out for that as well. I know her mass ability can lower cast time in general, but it was only by 200 out of 1000, which is the quote-unquote what it's supposed to be, so 20%. Compared to other units kind of like Glaciela or Helena, who also have a base 20%, but they also have additional abilities and or passives to increase it further, Kilphe will be a little bit slower on the cast times compared to them. And with Re-Raise and Moral Spirit still being relevant, as I said, in competitive play, Kilphe has nothing to really differentiate herself from any other generic unit other than just being pretty much a bruiser mage that has very good 100% hit abilities. So yeah, she does not bring anything quote-unquote new to the table against the current meta. And lastly, power creep pretty much happened to Kilphe, and her EX is not really enough to take her place back from the past, in my opinion. She used to be extremely difficult to deal with. She was really hard to take down overall, and we had no multi hits or barrier breaks for her specifically, so she was a very good check into all like melee damage, because physical damage, because we had nothing to break it pretty much. Additionally, Orlando was meta in the past as well, so Kilphe definitely like completely dumpstered him, and wind units were very scarce. The two, like I would say three, but let's be honest, Yerma did not see much like of light daytime. She did not see too much, but specifically Ayaka had no wind magic abilities. She was just a healer. 2, there was Lucia. However, Kilphe did have missile resistance as well as a barrier. Lucia was always forced to use quad shot, which does not actually kill Kilphe with her barrier on, unless she was really like badly like geared or set up. But even then, like Kilphe was still very, very strong back then, because we did not have like strong wind units. Right now, however, we not only have 2B, who has Impaler, which is Pierce. We also have Tifa, who is also strike damage and has a barrier break against Kilphe. We also have Halloween Leela, who is a very, very strong wind mage, especially even against Kilphe specifically. And lastly, we have June coming out soon. So yeah, Kilphe unfortunately does not have the tools to necessarily keep up / fight against them specifically, and she does not really bring anything new to the table against what our current meta is, which is the hell battle between Tryhard Dark and Light, because of all those re-rays, Keen Blade, all those annoying stuff right now. So yeah, unfortunately for her, she's a little bit power crept, and there's not much she can do about it, especially with the EX upgrade she got. This is not saying she is a bad unit. This is just saying that she has a more difficult time being more useful compared to more meta units that we have. So yeah, this is my Kilphe rating out of 5. I did give her a 3.5 out of 5, and as I said earlier, because of just to kind of save time constraints for now, I will not be doing an example scene for her specifically. But yeah, basically this is what it is. And I do have to say, I forgot to say, she was a mage in the past that had good starting AP. However, we now have units like Elena, who have cheaper AP costs with almost the same amount of starting AP. We have Yuna and Helena, who have very high starting AP. And then we have Kilphe, who has lower starting AP but has roughly the same or even higher AP costs on their abilities. So it's really just powercraft. I just can't say, I can't express it well enough. It's really sad to see that. Now let's talk about her TMR rating before I end this video. It is going to be the Staff Mage's Hairpin. I give it 2.5 out of 5, mostly because it does have its usage. However, you don't want to see a negative in your TMR usage. You only want to see the positives, which is the problem when this TMR specifically on the active does give a negative. Either way, it is an accessory type, 201 HP, 8 defense, 15 critical rate. Critical rate is pretty nice, defense not bad, HP is horrible. Now, the active effect, which is primarily why you would use it at all, is going to be Treacherous Pride, which is going to increase your single target resistance by 45% for 3 turns. This is extremely high. I just have to say, there are certain units that can bring their single target resistance with this close to, if you have the proper setup, literally very, very high like amount that you can just, I'm not gonna say it's gonna like completely negate single target damage, because I don't think anyone can get to 100%. However, it's very close that you can get to if you use this TMR setup specifically. I will say though, the negative part is the decreasing your AoE resistance by 25% for 3 turns for yourself. So unless the target you're using on is specifically tanking, almost all relevant meta or just relevant units in general do have an AoE ability which will easily overtake 45% of single target resistance. Like if they have a 200% attack, which is single target, but they also have a 165% AoE ability, they're obviously just going to use the 165% AoE ability, because not only is the AoE resistance decreased once you use this this TMR, it also will deal more damage because it decreased the AoE resistance. So it's like, why would you even bother using single target resistance for, like, here's the thing. if this TMR had only the single target resistance by 45% for 3 turns and no negative on the AoE resistance, this would be actually really freaking good. However, because of that negative and it only has 1 cast, unfortunately it just falls short of being good enough, unfortunately. But yeah, overall this is my rating for Kilphe, and we've come to the end of the video. If you like it, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe. And yeah, until the next unit, which is probably going to be June or Lucio, depending one of them. I hope everyone does good luck on the Trials of Reckoning, and I will probably be busy again for another week or 2. Hopefully I will not be busy after that, so I can like kind of push out more videos. Other than that, have a nice day, and until the next video, peace out.